So, um, the spoiler section now. These episodes are set up are pretty interesting. In the first episode, we see WandaVision. They arrive at this town, Westview, I think it's called, and that's the town she's kind of built up. They just got married or something a little bit while ago, and they come in and try to live their life. Vision kind of works at this somewhat of a company. I'm not entirely sure what it does yet. I'm not. Didn't really see fully what type of full company it is. There's some production, something of some sorts, and they see a date on the calendar that has that's the of that day. Then there's a heart on written on there, and they don't know yet what they can't remember what it was, what it means, and why they set a heart there, what that heart means, and what's so special about this day. And they later come to conclusion to that it's maybe some type of uh love day for them or something, some special like anniversary stuff. One that comes to that conclusion later. I'll get to that. But we also see that it's a little bit interesting. And you're right. Before I forget, the intro to this. Also, before the intro, we see the Marvel logo. There see some scenes from Endgame and stuff like that. So I really like that. And also the intro to their actual show is very interesting as well. Real old timey stuff. I just want to put that in so I don't forget. But we see that they're kind of confused, but they say, okay, we'll kind of figure it out later on as we go. And Vision goes to work, and Wanda stays at home. She's doing some things, and then we get introduced to another character named Agnes. And she's kind of special, possibly. I get to that when we get to the second episode, but she comes in and she's welcoming her. She's a new neighbor, like one that's a new neighbor for her. She's welcoming her there and asking her a bunch of questions like, why did you come here, and like, are you single, or and she says no, I am married, but where's your ring, and they kind of go more like that, and Wanda trying to explain herself in some way, and then she asked her why she's so so down. She's like, there's some day today, there's something special going on, we don't know. And she comes to the conclusion when after maybe it's an anniversary. She's like, yeah, anniversary, that's probably what it is. But we come to find that later when Vision is at work, we see that his boss actually comes in. He's at work, some kind of office work, something. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but he comes in and he says, "Are you ready for the dinner tonight?" Or says something about like that they will have. He's gonna have dinner at their house, and then that's for Vision. Like, oh right, if that's what it was. And his name is, I don't remember what they gave first name from. I don't think, but he's called Mr. Hart anyways, and his wife. He has a wife also, which we'll get to, Mrs. Hart. So he's like, oh, Mr. Hart, okay. Now and I understand. He calls up Wanda and says, okay, tells her that there's hopefully she's ready for everything. He thinks pretty much that she understands this, but she doesn't. She still thinks it's a anniversary thing. And it's like, okay, you gotta bear this everything, a lot of lies on this, and like it's about satisfying the wife. And he's speaking about his boss's wife, but she thinking about she thinks that he speaks of her, about her, and vice versa. It's like goes like so she says, yeah, and I think about it's about satisfying the husband, and he's gonna satisfy this. So it's like, oh yeah, then we agree, then it's all good. But later on, then we see that when the boss and his wife arrives, we see there's one that set up this kind of more moodful, like lovey kind of setting, for obvious reasons, and they get kind of surprised and shocked by this. The boss and his wife, like, what is this? What's the meaning of this setting? And she comes in this kind of looking, I don't know, like kind of looking gown thing. I don't know exactly what it called. Some kind of dress, white dress or something. I believe it's white. It looks pretty sparkling, like shiny. So it's black and white. So I don't know. There could be some other color, but I believe it's white. Either white or possibly it's red. I don't know, but either way, she has some kind of like dress for that kind of setting. And they're like, "What is it? Why are you wearing this?" And they kind of quickly explain like she's from Sokovia, so that's where this kind of leads. It's like she's from Sokovia. This is tradition over there. It's all like it's all good. It's like that's just how it is. I'm like, okay. What the boss is a little bit on the fence, but his wife's like, oh, okay, we should respect the culture and all that stuff. And after that, there's a lot of like going on. They're talking to each other, and Wanda is off to actually cook. And here we see kind of what power she actually can have. Like she makes all these things almost like some kind of one of the movies, you know, when there's just magic goes on, everything just works by itself. She does everything, like everything gets mixed by itself and all that. And she actually turns a whole chicken into eggs. And it gets kind of tense, it gets kind of stressful because she needs to get the food out to impress the boss and his wife because they're getting hungry. And in the end, she just makes kind of like a breakfast instead. And she puts that out. And this is where it really gets to the more interesting. This is where it gets really interesting. This is when we see then as they eat, the boss starts asking questions. He starts asking, "Where are you from? Where did you come from? Like, why did you come here? And when did you get married?" And they don't know really what to say. Vision, obviously, because he's being controlled by her, by Wanda, and like kind of like in a way he's in just her reality. We don't know fully yet if he's even real. But Wanda especially starts to question herself. She gets unsure, and it's just like I don't know what's like. She doesn't know what she's gonna say, and the boss gets more aggravated. He's like, "Come on, say it. What? Just spill it out." Like, and the wife's trying to calm down and say it's okay. Let them think. Let them explain themselves in their way. But eventually, when that happens, he starts to choke. He starts to choke on a piece of meat, and he starts choking, and it really gets this kind of tense feeling. And you hear the wife keep saying, "Stop it, stop it." Before she was saying "stop it" to his wife, to her husband, just stop yelling a little bit. But now she's like, you can clearly see that she's more focusing that, saying that "stop it" to Wanda instead, like save him, like don't let him die. And so she's just sitting kind of half smiling or half like and being kind of nervous and scared. And Wanda's like, she's really kind of like freaking out as well. And she says, but finally she tells Vision to save him, to stop it. Like, and Vision like kind of weird way he's like goes through into the guy's throat, like kind of, you know how he can phase through things. He pulls the piece of meat out. And after that, it's like all good. Like they are like all happy. Like, oh, thank you. It was a lovely night. And just the mood just switches like that. It's like that kind of reality thing. It's really very interesting, I have to say. But you see everything's a mood switch, and it's like, yeah, you're gonna get your promotion. Good job, Vision. Like his boss says all that. It's all good. and when they came in, one was like confusing his boss, Vision's boss, for him, and she was like, "Guess who?" And that got a little into. So now the wife also. I like those little small funny details like that. And they leave, and then we're left with Wanda and Vision, like thinking about everything. I said we are really, like we saw in the trailer, we are really unusual couple. You know, things are a little crazy, but yeah, but we're us. Like we're good. But we love each other, and that's all matters. You know, something along those lines. They get around to that, and then we see like Vision nice. We don't have any rings, and then Wanda just says like, I can conjure some rings, and she makes some rings appear on her fingers, like, and they pretty much like kiss or something, and you see Vision kind of bring out like a remote, and he like ends the show kind of. It's like a fourth wall moment almost. But it's kind of a fun thing. He kind of like it phases out, and then it cuts to like if we phase out, but then we see some kind of secret space or something. We see a monitor when it phased out, and we see that some type of agent or some person from Sword has been watching them and monitoring them through like a screen in some way, and that's the first hint towards Sword's involvement in a way, and how they get into it, and that's very very interesting. I like that. And I really enjoyed it because in some type of ways, there's that's what I said before. There's some small hints throughout the whole thing towards what's to come, and that's the first real big hint we see. Like on the screen, there's a sword thing, and there's like a little book almanac thing with the sword logo as well on, and that's how the episode ends. So, a very interesting first episode, and I definitely enjoy it. I definitely do enjoy it because it's very fun. It's very fun. Um, I have to say, like, this is gonna be some kind of type of going in some, like, the mood is gonna always gonna switch, and it's always gonna be some tense moments, but also mixed with the comedy. It's gonna tramp up even more as the show goes on. But yeah, but then we get into the second episode. And this one starts off a little bit more differently. Like, Wanda and Vision are laying in bed, and they kind of hear a sound outside, and it's like they hear some type of sound coming outside. This is also some small hints towards something really bigger to come. That's really about to come. In some way, you can hear later on some bee buzzing as well. But first, they hear some clapping against the window. Vision goes and checks. There's nothing there first, but then they check again. And then like hear some more. He gets scared, and then like that moves the beds together. With her magic, she moves the beds together, and she checks out herself. They see like it's a tree, but that's just like the first small hint that there's something going on. But then they don't think more about that. They say, okay, not very cool. But then we cut to the day after. We see WandaVision. WandaVision, they want in this episode to fit in more. They're trying to blend in more and trying to hide the fact that they are special in a way, that they have those powers and so on. So they enter like some kind of event for the town or something, or talent show or something like that. Entirely sure, but it's some along those lines, and they want to perform a magic act, and that's and they get special. They give us especially Vision was called illusion, so that maybe that's a hint about if he's real or not. He'll call himself illusion, and Wanda, I can't really remember what she was called. Can't remember right now. Sorry, but I'll probably leave it down below. Or maybe you got one of you got, but if you have seen it, you know. But they were trying to enter this thing just to show that it's just we're just normal. These tricks are just fake, so nobody will think anything of them. But it doesn't really work out fully like that. We'll get to it. But before we do, I just want to say in the intro of this, we already see a small hint as well. Intro to the second episode, we see a small hint to what possibly could be a villain for the show, and that villain, maybe either for this show or maybe for later on, but that villain is named the first one we see the green, what is it? Was it that? Oh wait. Yeah, exactly, just to get it right. I know his name, but just so don't mix it up with somebody else, because there's some other villains as well introduced. But the Grim Reaper, he's called the Grim Reaper, and it's not really not different Grim Reaper like that, but it's a character from the comics, and you can kind of see his helmet. It looks like kind of like this, and how maybe I don't know if I'll be able to infuse a picture here, or maybe I'll leave a link down below to so you can see where I'll probably post it on my social media. You can see the picture, but it almost looks like Galactus helmet, but it's not really his. It's different. But you probably know how he looks. He's a villain from the comics. He's very significant with along with Vision, because Vision's mind, like how can you say, the brain waves that come into Vision, they belong to Wonder Man from the comics, and Wonder Man is Grim Reaper's brother. So this made Grim Reaper kind of hate Vision and say like, yeah, you ruined my brother, like I'm gonna destroy you because of that, because you took my brother away in some ways like that. And that's coming from and there's some hints that maybe Wonder Man could be appearing, because there wasn't concept of shown in a recent like this is a real, what do you call it, yeah, something like that. Not a recent reel that they show in the background, there was some artwork of him. So he could be making an appearance, but it's not really sure, but that's that connection, at least a little bit. You see that in the intro when it pans down in the animated intro, like in between the floorboards or something. I think you can see the helmet, like right there. It goes by really quickly, so it's not easy to see first time. But that's what that is. But anyways, throughout later in the episode, we see then that Vision, of course, goes to his work, but we see then also Wanda. She moves on. She goes with Agnes to a place to this woman called Dottie, and this is where you also get another hint towards other things coming inside to Wanda's reality, and people trying to contact her through. um, and this is also when we get introduced to Monica Rambeau, and she's also in this that place. And I like that. I like her character. Very interesting, very funny as well. And they kind of talk. Her and Wanda kind of talk to each other while Dottie is talking as well. And Wanda try to get a good impression, but with Dottie, because Dottie is like the most popular person in the town, or the most higher power ones, or something like that. But and even before that, before she actually gets it, before she meets Agnes, I forgot to say, she sees an helicopter laying in the bushes as well. I've almost forgotten. Good, I just saw it in my notes. See some kind of and it's colored. You see, it's fully colored. It's like red and yellow kind of color. You saw that in the trailers as well. And it has like a sword logo on it, and that's the first that's the first time she kind of sees something is going on and something is trying to breach in. And she has like kind of like a mystified, kind of worried face on her. Before and after that we see Dorothy, I think. No, wait, what is it? Agnes. You see Agnes coming in, they go there. And this is where and after that, when they are at Dottie's place, after Dottie is done talking, after their little, I don't know what they had, there's some little meeting was done. Wanda's staying after trying to clean up some things, because some crazy stuff happened. But we see then, even before that, we see like there's some hints when who was it that said it? Dottie says the devil is in the details, though. And then Agnes replies, "That's not the only place he is." And as I also, as I myself first thought, but also I've seen some other people talk about this as well, this could be a hint towards Mephisto. Because he's the devil in the Marvel universe, in the comics, kind of, and he also is closely connected with Wanda in some ways, because before the whole House of M stuff happened, he was the one she's with. She got pregnant when he's kind of, I don't know, power shards, something like that. I don't know exactly, but he made her pregnant in some kind of way, and the babies that she was pregnant with were kind of made from him, made in some type of way. And when she gave birth to him, he wanted them back. He wanted to take them, and he did. And that's what made Wanda go all crazy, and that's what made her go into the whole House of M thing, and out of the line, like, no more mutants, and all that other stuff. So this could be a small hint towards that. And we also have kind of seen a small hint in when we saw the Loki trailer. We saw like a glass thing painted on the glass, like a glass thing. I think it was in some church or something. We see kind of a devil on the glass painted on, and that could also be like a smaller hint towards. It's too much of a coincidence, really. Otherwise, why would they mention the devil's name this in this openly kind of way? So this could be a hint towards another villain. That could be a hint to a second villain, and that is Mephisto. So, but we will see how everything pans out, and everything is set up in a way. We'll see how everything will be done as we go on. Sorry. But that's pretty much the first half of that first episode. We see those kind of things happen, and we also, towards that meeting, we also see when she speaks to Dottie towards the end, she kind of like hears on the radio, you hear the voice of Jimmy Woo, the inspector from that was last seen in like Ant-Man the Wasp, that guy, the Asian guy. He was played by Randall Park. You kind of hear his voice coming throughout that radio, and you can then, and like everything like goes a little bit like tense, and also and the radio kind of, I think the radio kind of explodes, or something happened with it, and Dottie like holds a glass or something, and it like breaks in her hand, and you can see like red kind of blood or something from her hand coming out. So that's like another one of those more tense moments that you can see there is some other force breaking into her reality, and she sees that things aren't really working fully perfect as she wants to. But then we also see a little bit quickly, we see Vision at his work with his colleagues, and they're speaking about eating or something. They're thinking about like eating while at work, and he says like, I don't eat. I'm not an eater, like, or something, like, I don't eat them. But it's kind of like a fun moment like that. But and they look at me weird, and he's like, no, I mean, I don't eat between like meals. I don't eat at work, and so I'm like, okay. But then later on, one of them offers him like a piece of gum, I believe it is. I think it's or something, a candy gum thing. And he takes it and he eats it, but then he accidentally swallows it as well. And that causes a problem because he's pretty much a machine, mostly, like a crazy symbol technology, more than he's not really a human. So it's like, is he kind of like in a fun animated style way? You see like cogs inside of him. It's like you see the gum like get stuck in there between, like, to show that it's messing with him. And that makes him go all like weird, and like almost like it's almost like he's like drugged. It is kind of that kind of sense, like he's kind of drunk or drugged or something. Not like seriously, but a little bit like he's a little bit woozy and speaks like gets all weird. And that also takes over when they actually go on to do their magic act, and that's when we see him. He almost gives their powers away when he kind of starts floating, or when he lifts up by like a piano, and does some other things like that. And he has a little fun interaction with this one of these other characters. And this character is, I don't remember his name. It's the African guy, but he has it's like a fun thing with the cards, like with some cards, and it's like, it's just your card, it's just your card, it's just your card, like, oh, and then finally it's like, yeah, it's your card, you did it right, like, oh, excuse me, keep it. I couldn't stop laughing at that. That was very funny, but one that manages to like hide the fact, like trying to quickly, like, she conjures some ropes to make it look like it was, when he was flying, that was just ropes, and when it was the sorry, just want to check. It's weird that my thing is not charging. It should be charging. When he lifted the piano, it was just like cardboard instead. It's like a cardboard thing. And there's like this one guy in the last episode as well. he got fired by the boss because he failed to impress him. He says like, that was my grandpa's or grandma's piano. Like, they're like bringing this guy down, this poor guy down so much. It's really funny. And so she kind of makes it work, you know, as it goes along. And towards the end, we then see the final big trick is like the magic disappearing box thing, and Wanda is supposed to go in there, and he's supposed to kind of like make it go away because it's like a trap door, but she doesn't, and he like does something, like says something like, yeah, and go, and she says to him like, I'm standing right here, and everybody starts chanting like, what's in the box, what's in the box, and then you see, when they open it up, you see Monica Rambeau standing in there, because she apparently like walked in there, or maybe they somehow in some accident way like put her in there somehow. I don't exactly know, but she's in there, and everybody still loves it. Everybody thinks they just conjured her up. They like made her appear in there, so it still works out. So and after that, like, everything goes kind of the right way. Like she pulls the gum out of his mouth, and he turns kind of back to normal. And but they still feel like they have pretty much given themselves away. They don't think that they have done a good job themselves. But it turns out like Dottie gives them the award for the best act, and like everybody kind of feels like it's all good. Like they really didn't, as it seems for now, didn't suspect anything. But we don't know yet exactly if that's the case. Because, as I said before, there's something with the character Agnes. And this could be also another person from the comics that could be in works with either Grim Reaper or Mephisto. It's Agatha Harkness. In the comics, she's known to be both good and bad, possibly. And Agnes could be her, because Agatha is so close in hand. Many people think that this could be her. and she's possibly supposed to be bad here then. That she's trying to lure Wanda and Vision into these, or at least Wanda into these moments like this. But it's not entirely sure. It possibly could be entirely untrue, but that's what some speculation is going around, that she's trying to make them go to this, so for either one of those other, so they can get to them in some type of way. In some type of way. We don't know entirely much yet, but hopefully we'll learn more as it goes on. That is at least a theory, and I'm not saying that I didn't come up with that theory fully myself. I've seen some other people talk about that as well. But that is a possibility. And then towards the end of the episodes, we see WandaVision again. Towards the end, we see them back home again, and they're like talking with each other about everything, saying like they were so real, but they're good. Like they support each other. They're gonna, I don't exactly remember the dialogue, but they're there at least talking, and then they hear something again, outside. And it's like, if it's that tree again, I'm gonna like, yeah. But then they walk out, and but they see, well, first, before that, they see that, yeah, they talk about, yeah, right, they talk about their children. They say like, oh, we're pregnant. Everybody's asking like, what, why are we not pregnant yet? Like, something comes up around the mentioned children. And then you see that Wanda is actually pregnant. You see that, and that's also a little bit hint towards maybe Mephisto is part of it in some way. Because of that, we'll probably see her children coming up in some of the coming episodes eventually. But we see that, but then they hear that sound, they go out, and then we see this, the guy we saw from the trailer, the beekeeper guy. Not entirely sure if he's actually a beekeeper. Some say that this could be another one, but it'll be too much. Like, this could possibly be Swarm, the villain Swarm or something. But it could also be just a normal sword agent. And this is the way he came in. He can only get in underneath. He can like through this reality, like the bubble. He just can only go underneath. That's why he came from the sewers. and then we see one that just says no, like she doesn't want any of that. Like, she's not gonna let anybody interfere, and she like kind of changes reality again. It's like almost like, and in some type of ways, it just rewinds back them standing in the living room again, and it's just like showing goes normal. I think it was either that going for, and then they showed that she was pregnant, or they showed it both times. I don't remember exactly right now, but at least she does change the reality to normal again, and the way she wants it, and everything just goes back to normal, and that's forgotten for now. But I'm not exactly sure yet what that guy is gonna be. He could be coming back. He could just be a random one, but they did show it in the trailer as well, so he could be a reoccurring character. Like, he could be coming back as well. Again, I'm pretty sure we will see something again in those ways, but we'll definitely see more of Sword. But that's the last we see, and then we kind of pan out, and we hear once again Jimmy Woo's voice through like a radio again. Wanda, who's doing this to you? Like, just like earlier in the episode. And that's how it ends. So there's always these little things hinting towards what's to come in some type of ways, and that this second episode really stepped it up, and I think it's definitely better, even better than the first one. And this one was very interesting and very fun to watch, and there is some really good, cool hints towards. And throughout these two episodes, we see also this kind of commercials come up a little bit. Maybe through one of mine, or they see sometime on TV or something. One of them is about a toaster from Stark Industries. That thing kind of blows up. And towards the end of the commercial, it kind of blows up, and sometimes it malfunctions or something like that. And then we see a commercial for a watch, and then the thing, the voice in the commercial says, "We'll always be there for you," or something like that. I don't know. And it says like Strucker on the watch, and it has like a little Hydra. Has a little Hydra symbol on in the bottom also as well. And these two are definitely major hints towards Wanda's past, as we can see, possibly in a way that the first one could be something about her, the news, or like the bombs or something from Stark Industry that in the war, during some wartime in Sokovia, that killed her and Pietro's mother, or father, or whatever. I don't know far yet, but at least they killed their mother, right? In the explosion, killed her parents in the explosion, and that affects her. And for the one Strucker, the Strucker thing, there's obviously a hint to that's a homage to, or like a hint to, or it's a callback to Baron von Strucker from Age of Ultron, right? we see him in that movie, and he's the one that kept them in the cells, and pretty much he's the one that worked their powers, like made their powers become what they are now. Like he's the one who, like, I don't know if he gave them powers per se like that, but he's the one who activated their powers in some way with the with the stone, you know, the stone, the mind stone. So as a callback to that and everything they went through in that, so that still haunts her mind as well in some type of way. But also some very interesting callbacks. I really enjoyed it. See if I missed anything. No, I think that's pretty much everything. Through the whole thing, like, yeah. But I believe that these two episodes were a very strong start, and then also we see Wanda and Vision finally get colored. You know, it turns to color again. We go into the next decade where there's more color, and that's probably gonna be from now on. It'll just be in color again, fully. Just the first two episodes, the first 2 decades there that were black and white. Now it's gonna be in color, and it was very cool to see how it's like everything transitions, and you can see throughout all there's always a little bit like small disturbance, little you know, kind of things going on throughout the 2 episodes as well. So I like the little details they put in here. I like the little callbacks. I like the everything, how they put everything together, and that's what I like about Marvel, how constructive of how like overall they put together the thing. They give time to everything and do it the right way, and that's what I love about it, and that's what I love about this show. It's perfect. It's just the way I wanted it, and even better, even possibly. So this video is very long. I've recorded now for 45 minutes. Maybe I'll split this up. Possibly this is split up in 2 now. If it is, you probably already know. If it's split up, this spoiler section is probably the second part. If not, just a long video. But if it is, that's pretty much it for the spoiler section. If you haven't watched the normal one, if it's split up, if you haven't watched that part where I tell just what I think about the show overall, go watch that as well. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I know I've been talking for long, but I hope you guys at least enjoyed some of this information I put out and my thoughts and so on. I just wanted to do that a little bit quickly, and it's not the next week. It's definitely not gonna be as long because this is 2 episodes at once I needed to do, but now it's just gonna be 1 episode per week, so that's gonna be a little bit easier, a little bit shorter. So it's probably gonna go down to maybe like 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes tops. So yeah. But anyways, thank you guys for watching again. If you haven't checked out WandaVision, you probably have if you watch this, but keep watching it. Tell me down below in the comments what do you think about this show. Did it impress you? Did you like it more than you thought you would? Or is it not really your thing? Anything, just tell me down below. And also don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And press the notification bell, and don't forget to share as well. All free to do. And yeah, thank you again. Thank you for all the support recently as well. Hopefully I can keep going this year even more, and maybe even improve the channel even more. But for now, this is the kind of the setup I have to do. This is kind of the way I have to do it. But I promise you, as the year goes on, it will be better. And towards the end of the year, I'm pretty sure it will be the best quality I will have had. I'll be getting some new equipment soon, and some new a new camera, a new editing stuff, a new computer, so I can edit more. It will all come in soon time. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.